Right, this is my UFC 113 recap video. I'm actually going to dedicate this recap video to talking about only 2 or 3 things rather than my usual going through each fight. As I say, that is what I standardly do on a recap video. But as I have done in the past, when something really important happens that deserves, quite a lot of discussion, I've generally tended to dedicate myself to those things. So you'll see at the end how I've done with my predictions. Firstly, let me say that I do believe that all the packages for submission and stoppage and fight of the night went to the right people. As I said, I was very, very impressed with the Sam Stout versus Jeremy Stevens match, and Alan Belcher did fantastically. So I do believe that those people who have got their packages actually deserve it this time. I want to first talk about Lyoto Machida and Mauricio Rua. Now, as you know, this is an instant rematch that he's got. He got this because last October-November he fought for the title that had been held by the Dragon, and he took him to decision. Now, they gave the decision to the Dragon. And a lot of people were not very impressed. I thought it was badly scored. I do believe that Rua should have been given the championship belt at that point in time. Obviously there was a rematch. It's taken, the best part of 6 to 8 months to actually happen. And he actually won. He won in devastating fashion as well. I know I said that I thought that the Dragon would win again, and I didn't expect him to employ the technique of takedowns and groundwork to avoid the leg kicks. I didn't think that Lyoto would do that. But regardless of that, Rua actually got a KO, and it was a pretty instant KO in the first round, and it's the first time that Lyoto has actually been beaten, period. If you don't think, like a lot of us, that he was actually beaten by decision last time. I don't know what the UFC can do about bum decisions. I suspect that because we are led to believe that the judges are State Athletic Commission people and nothing to do with the institution, I suppose instant rematches are about the only thing they can do. It's a pity, it is a pity, because things like this before have happened, and it has ruined careers. People have sort of spiralled out of control and not had the same sort of chances that we've seen with Rua, contesting again, beating again, and this time winning. So well done to him. I don't mind that I got my prediction wrong on that. Second thing I want to talk about is the Josh Koscheck match against Paul Daley. Now, Paul Daley has always been outspoken, he's always been rude, and he's always had a temper. And I have said that I thought that his one weakness, which hasn't been shown up in the UFC, was the ground game, was that he could be taken down and submitted. Props to him on actually managing to avoid a lot of the submission techniques that were employed, and there were quite a few, particularly chokes, over several rounds that Koscheck tried. I am surprised that Josh Koscheck didn't finish him by submission, I have to say, and I think that might have been because Paul Daley is better on the ground than I thought, but he still obviously is not anywhere near the sort of person that he is as he would have been on his feet. Again, not one that I'm sad I've got wrong in my predictions, because I did say that it was sort of based on the fact I thought Koscheck, being a smart ass, would stand with him and get it in the head. And he actually fought the better game. The one problem with Koscheck, well, there's 2 really, but one is quite serious. And that is that he has a nasty habit of faking injuries during the match. It's always eye pokes, it's always illegal knees. Now, I think there was an illegal knee. I think it was in the first round. Do I think it deserved a points deduction? Well, yes, but that's because, and I'll explain why in a bit. The problem I have with that is that then Josh Koscheck claims, he's been hurt in the eye and he's grabbing his eye and he's flailing all over the place and he's a big drama queen, and it's nothing of the sort. He's done this before in matches previous where he's claimed to have been poked in the eye, only to have his eye dramatically recover during the intervals, or for him to be clutching the wrong eye by the time you get to the end of the round. The other thing I have against Josh Koscheck is that he has a habit of bringing the mind games into the ring. Not sure the UFC can police that particularly, but I don't think it's very professional to, start whispering in your opponent's ear seconds before the round ends and you win by decision. Whatever unpolite and horrible thing he said. Does that excuse Paul Daley's behaviour after? Absolutely no. There was no excuse for them punching way after the round had finished, way after, practically, next year, Paul Daley comes back and smashes Josh Koscheck in the head. Unacceptable, absolutely unacceptable. What the UFC have to remember, though, is that they have to start making policies. They actually have to start making policies for several reasons. First, if they are actually seriously for fighter safety, these things need to happen. They need to start saying, look, if you do illegal knees, if you do eye pokes, if you do kicks to the groin, you're instantly going to get every single referee saying, who sees it, who has to stop it, saying, right, that's a point deducted. And that needs to go across the board, because I remember mentioning last time when this happened, Anthony Pettis was kicked in the balls and nothing happened. The person before, I think, was kicked in the balls and his opponent either got disqualified or got a point deducted. They have to now start saying, look, take it one way or the other, but you can't do both. You can't let some people off and not others. Obviously, sometimes they do this because of status, and that's something they need to overcome. Sobral gets cut because he holds the choke on too long, but when BJ Penn does it to Jens Pulver, there's no problem. Caleb Starnes gets the axe when he does nothing but run away, I think from Nate Quarry. But when Anderson Silva does it to Patrick Cote, to Tarls Lights, to practically anybody, he somehow still gets to say. They have to start implementing proper rules. And that's why I think, yes, Paul Daley should absolutely have got a point deducted in the first because of knees, illegal knees to the groin. But so should Sam Stout for his illegal knees against, although those were actually kicks to the groin, against Jeremy Stephens. And I'm not sure he did at all. Even though he lost this split decision, I'm not sure a point was actually officially deducted. They need to start doing this now. They need to start laying down a proper procedure for what we call gross misconduct. And I would suggest to them that they take very, very seriously the idea of, taking off points as soon as accidents happen. Even if they are accidents, it's still not acceptable. For the sake of fighters' health, it's not acceptable. It has to be punished. So there we are. And as for Kimbo Slice getting cut, well, I think he gasped, but I can't see why they would cut him. I still think he's quite funny to watch, or at least funny to look at.